been put under immense pressure by Max Verstappen and Red Bull here tonight. Sir Lewis Hamilton, as he is now, crosses the line and wins the Bahrain Grand Prix.
Ahead of the Italian Grand Prix, the stage is set for a captivating showdown between Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen, as both drivers prepare to do battle for the second time this season. As the reigning race winner and championship leader, Hamilton carries a 7-point advantage over his Red Bull rival Verstappen as they approach the Imola circuit. However, the odds appear to be in favor of the Dutchman, who has been in scintillating form this season, with many considering him the favorite to win the race.
Luckily, this track is a bit less about track limits, so that's good. It penalizes, on itself if you go too wide. And that's, I think, how it should be at the end.
Okay, for the moment, let Lewis through.
We've got a lot of work to do. We are the hunters. It might be wet this weekend, which is, I like that stuff anyway, so it's all good. It's something that I've generally thrived in, so but it's a lot of work, it's a lot of focus, and the attention to detail is huge.
Despite Verstappen's strong start to the season, Hamilton and his Mercedes teammate, Valtteri Bottas, are determined to defend their position at the top of the championship standing. Can Hamilton defend his title and extend his lead in the championship? Or will Verstappen's superior form this season prove too much for the Mercedes duo to handle? In the opening chapter of the Emilia Romagna weekend, the first practice session unfolded with a dramatic start at the Imola circuit. Bottas of Mercedes set the pace early on, posting a quick time that would ultimately secure him the top spot on the leaderboard. However, the session was not without its share of drama. The first red flag was brought out following a collision between Red Bull's Sergio Perez and Alpine's Esteban Ocon at turns 5 and 6, causing a disruption in the flow of the session. Not long after, the second red flag was waved when Haas driver Nikita Mazepin crashed at turn 18, further compounding the challenges faced by the teams and drivers as they prepared for the rest of the weekend. As the second practice session drew to close, it was once again Valtteri Bottas who emerged on top with a blistering lap that left his rivals in his wake. Hot on his heels were Hamilton in second place and AlphaTauri's Pierre Gasly rounding out the top three. The session was not without its hiccups, with the first interruption coming when Max Verstappen's Red Bull came to a halt on track, necessitating the deployment of the virtual safety car. This came as a surprise to many, given Verstappen's strong start to the season. The second interruption came when Charles Leclerc had a high-speed crash in his Ferrari near the end of the session, bringing out the red flag and causing a disruption in the closing moments of the practice. The final practice session of the weekend came to a close with Max Verstappen emerging as the driver to beat, setting the fastest time of the session in his Red Bull. The McLaren of Lando Norris put in an impressive showing, securing the second fastest time of the session and demonstrating that the team has made significant strides in recent months. Not far behind was Lewis Hamilton, who rounded out the top three showing that he and his Mercedes team are still very much in the hunt for victory.
I bet on myself. Yeah, I bet on myself.
As the first part of qualifying got underway, the excitement was palpable, but it quickly took a dramatic turn when Yuki Tsunoda spun and crashed heavily at the Variante Alta chicane, resulting in a red flag. With only 5 drivers having set a time before Tsunoda's crash, the track became noticeably congested near the end of the session, making for a chaotic finish. The second part of qualifying was less dramatic, but still saw the surprise elimination of Carlos Sainz, who could only manage 11th place in his Ferrari. Behind him were George Russell, Sebastian Vettel, Nicolas Latifi, and Fernando Alonso. Sergio Perez topped the session, while Lando Norris of McLaren put in an impressive performance, securing the second fastest time.
At the 30th different track in his career, Lewis Hamilton will start a Grand Prix in the top spot.
As the final part in qualifying wrapped up, Lewis Hamilton secured pole position for the 99th time in his illustrious career, narrowly edging out Red Bull's Sergio Perez, who admitted to losing time at the Ravazza double left-hand. Max Verstappen secured the 3rd spot on the grid, finishing just a mere fraction behind Lewis Hamilton. Despite missing out on the top spot, Verstappen's qualifying performance demonstrated that he would be a formidable contender in the race.
We have 19 on the grid then, 1 in the pit lane. It's lights out and away we go. Verstappen gets an excellent reaction. Hamilton, though, is ahead of Perez, but not for long.
The excitement was palpable as the starting lights went out, and Max Verstappen wasted no time in making his move. The Red Bull driver bolted off the line, swiftly overtaking both his teammate Sergio Perez and pole sitter Lewis Hamilton to claim the lead. Caught off guard, Hamilton was forced to take evasive action, driving over the curbs on the outside of the Tamburello curve, which resulted in damage to his front wing. Meanwhile, the incident-filled start to the race continued as Nikita Mazepin, driving for Haas, was unable to avoid the Williams of Nicolas Latifi, who had run wide at the Aqua Mineral right-hander. Mazepin's car emerged unscathed, but Latifi was spun into the wall, bringing out the safety car. During the safety car period, Nick Schumacher spun near the pit exit and lost his front wing, while Perez, after running into the gravel, illegally regained his position, earning him a 10-second stop-go penalty.
Is Hamilton going to have a little go if he can into the chicane? They came together on the opening lap. This time around, Hamilton is just a little too far.
As the rain gradually subsided, Sebastian Vettel, driving for Aston Martin, was the first to make the switch to slick tires, changing to them on lap 22. Verstappen, leading the race by just over a second, pitted for slicks on lap 27, with Hamilton hot on his heels. However, a slower pit stop for the Mercedes driver saw him fall behind Verstappen, setting the stage for an enthralling battle for supremacy as the race continued to unfold.
Oh, and sliding off the road goes the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton.
On the 31st lap, Hamilton slid into the gravel at Tosa while trying to lap the Williams of George Russell. He managed to stop his car clear of the barriers but damaged his front wing. He miraculously managed to keep his engine going, engaging reverse and rejoining the race. Soon after, Russell was involved in a 320-kilometer-per-hour crash with the other Mercedes of Valtteri Bottas at the entrance to the fast Tamburello chicane. The race was red flagged because debris had scattered across the track. Both drivers were noticeably enraged following the incident. Russell marched over to the remains of Bottas' Mercedes to confront him, while Bottas replied to a light slap on his crash helmet from Russell by giving him the middle finger. Because the stewards classified the crash as a racing incident, neither driver was penalized. At the restart, Verstappen maintained his lead and pulled away from the rest of the field, while Hamilton, starting 9th after the red flag, worked his way upwards through the field. The British driver eventually overtook the stubborn McLaren of Lando Norris for second place on lap 60, with Norris achieving his second podium with a third-place finish.
And who wins the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix this afternoon? Max Verstappen.
Verstappen went on to claim the victory, while Hamilton claimed the bonus point for fastest lap, allowing him to maintain the lead in the championship over his Red Bull rival. The race was a thrilling encounter, full of drama and incident, and left fans on the edge of their seats until the very end. While the Italian Grand Prix may have been just one race in a 23-event calendar, its consequences were felt in the months that followed. The massive crash suffered by Hamilton's Mercedes teammate Valtteri Bottas could have far-reaching implications for the team, with Hamilton and Verstappen trading victories to open the season, and Red Bull holding the upper hand in terms of pure pace. Hamilton's recovery to second place was a crucial moment of damage limitation in the championship battle. It was clear that the pressure was on Mercedes to manage their resources wisely and stay competitive in the months ahead. Only time would tell if they would be able to rise to the challenge and keep their rivals at bay.